Hey everybody, I'm John. I collect cards, and we're going back 63 years in this video to 1959. You could even make an argument that this countertop and paneling could almost be from 1959 too. Not quite, from the 80s, but anyway. I last week purchased 7 cards from the 1959 top set. These 4 aren't among them. I brought these out just for the wallpaper for the video. But I hadn't done a set break purchase spree, I guess you can call it, in a few months actually, and so it was actually kind of fun to do that again for a bit. I'm not set collecting 59. For a time I thought maybe I was. A year ago or so, I probably have 100 to 125 cards from the set. I bought a few lots along the way, and bought a few stars along the way, several of which I trotted out in a prior video, the Vintage Voyage video, and then some of them I forgot I even still had, or I had purchased them along the way. So that was actually kind of fun to trot those out again. But I brought these out as kind of the wallpaper. Some mid-tier stars, I think you could say, from the late 50s. We got Joe Adcock here, the Milwaukee Braves, a key cog in that Braves lineup. Don Larson. I'm sure everyone who's watching this video knows who Don Larson is and what he did 3 years prior to 59. And Curt Simmons here, who was a really solid pitcher for many years. He was on the 1950 Whiz Kids, and pitched for, gosh, a number of years for the Phillies. Now, shortly after this, he got traded, or well, I'm guessing he was traded because free agency really didn't exist yet, to the Cardinals, and he was on the '64 Cardinals World Series winner. He, like I said, he was a Whiz Kid in 1950 and went 17-8 with them early in his career, and overall had a really nice career. Made a few All-Star teams, kind of like Joe Adcock on the left there, were just really solid players in their day who, you know, are in some ways, Simmons probably in particular, kind of lost and forgotten about a little bit. Although Curt Simmons is alive and well, I believe, in his early to mid 90s, I think, which is awesome. You know, I got a Tigers team card here too, just to sort of take it back for, you know, when we're opening packs as kids, and you got those team cards all, you know, even in the 70s for me, or early 80s. It was always kind of fun to get those. They don't really hold tons of value, although some do. But I just happened to come across that one when I pulled a few out, and I was like, all right, we'll throw this out there too. But what I did was buy 7 1959 cards from a set break, and I'm usually a centering guy, but in this case, as you'll see, I kind of was into corners this night, and I found a few that were several. It was, I think the seller rated them EX, like EX Mint to NM, so it was like a 6 or 7 kind of range, I think. And the one that started off my little mini spree that evening last week was this card right here, Bob Turley. I'm going to show these in numerical order. This card is number 60 in the set, and if you are familiar with me in any prior videos, maybe you've watched, if you've, well, first I thank you for doing that if you have. I like card backs, and Bob Turley was the pitching hero, as it says here, for the 1958 Yankees in the World Series. He won 2 games, and basically, you know, was a key person in making that Yankee title happen in the World Series. They had lost to the Braves in '57, bounced back in '58 against the Braves again, and took the series that year. So this was the card. I saw this one. I just happened to be cruising around eBay. For some reason, I can't even remember what keywords I punched in. I doubt it was 59 tops. I probably just punched in, yeah, I may have, for all I know. And I saw this come up, and I was like, okay, what else has he got selling, or the seller selling? And turned out it was a set break. And, you know, it's off-center left, but the corners are really nice. As you'll see from most of these cards, they're mostly actually off-center left, but the corners are really solid. And I just, in this evening, when I saw them, I was like, you know what? And I think I got this one for $5-6 maybe $5. Most of the others were anywhere from like $2.25 to 4 or something with one bigger one at the end. I did mention in the description here that there's one Hall of Famer in this video. And that'll be the last card here of the bunch. It was also the last numerical card of the batch that I did get. So this is card number 65 in this set. And if folks might know who that is, if they memorize the set, it's Frank Torre. Frank Torre of the Milwaukee Braves. Another important part of those late 50s Braves teams. He was like a defense first baseman who could hit for average. And he was on both of those Braves pennant winners. And brother of Joe Torre. Many might know that 96 Yankees team, Joe Torre's first at the Yankees and the first of their 6 pennants and 4 World Series titles under Torre. Frank Torre was in the hospital during that World Series awaiting a heart transplant, and it added a whole bunch of drama in that series. The Torres were, born New Yorkers, native New Yorkers, and in New York, where I was, where I grew up and where I was at that time, that was a big underlying story in that among many for that World Series team. It was the first Yankees title in 18 years when they did pull it off, and Frank and Joe had lost their older brother Rocco. He had passed away that summer, which was just a lot of deep and there was some emotional stories going on for that team, and starting from Joe Torre on down, because it was his first World Series he had won. I don't think he won one as a player, and his managing career was, he was a highly regarded manager, but he had never really made it to the playoffs, I don't think. Maybe, no, he did once with the 82 Braves, but overall I think he was an under 500 manager. And when he took over, I'll put that down now and sort of talk through this, but his first, when the Yankees first hired him in early 96, the fans were not liking it. It didn't take long for them to come around, for us to come around, I guess. I wasn't really a naysayer, so to speak. I'm not that kind of guy, but yeah, it was just so, when I saw that card, and it's a beautiful card too. I mean, the centering and the corners on this are just really nice, and I just like the blue color on it. And so, when I bought this card last week, among the 7 I got here, I was, everything I just sort of mentioned was kind of crossing through my mind. Those are the stories I just kind of like, I like, weaving and sort of, connecting generations and history and baseball and all that stuff. And so that card kind of spoke to me. I really like that one. The next card I picked up in the set break that night was Dick Schofield, Pittsburgh Pirates shortstop, or infield. He may have played both middle infield positions, actually. He started off as a Cardinal, and then I guess was traded in '58 to the Pirates. His son, Dick Schofield, played for, as many of you might know, he played for the California Angels for several years as a shortstop. Not sure if he played anywhere else, actually. He may have been just an Angel for all I know. Had a few okay years in the 80s. Not a fairly light-hitting shortstop, but made a name for himself. I know that. And I knew his dad had played in Major League Baseball, too, and so it was kind of cool to pick up his card from a '54 set a while back, and I have this one, too, and I like the pinks. I like the pinks in the 1958 set, and I like the pinks in this one, too. And again, the corners are really nice here. Centering's off, of course, and that's what made probably the bidding go not quite as high. But again, this is a nice card. I'll take this card for $4 every day of the week. It's a nice one. The next one I have here is one player that I wasn't really too familiar with when I picked it up, and I'm still not, because I just haven't really looked him up on Baseball Reference, but it's card number 71, Don Besant. Probably butchering the name, but Besant would be my first pronunciation attempt there. A Dodger reliever, I want to say he was. Yeah, had to have been a reliever just from the innings pitched in games there. But played for Brooklyn, was on the '55 Dodgers. I don't know if he pitched in the World Series or not, but the fact that he went 8-1 in 1955 makes me think that he probably did. He pitched 63 innings, 24. He probably was a key person in that bullpen. And, of course, this year in '59 in L.A., they ended up winning the World Series. I'm assuming he was still with the Dodgers this year. So, another nice card. Off-center again with the nice corners, though. And, oh, sorry about that. I like picking this one up for a few bucks. I'm calling this, actually, by that, as you can see from the title of the video, I'm calling this my Porthole pack, because the 59, of course, is sort of known for the circle. That's, people just, I call it the Porthole set. And so I have 7 cards. I got 3 more to show. And I read that, so it's not like a pack, really, because you could call it a nickel pack and 2 penny packs. The nickel packs had 5 cards in them, and the penny pack, I think they had 5. For all I know, they may have had 6, but I think they had 5. And the penny packs, of course, had 1. Next card I have is card number 75 of the set. And this one's one of the more interesting cards. The corners of it are actually the worst of the 7, but the centering's pretty good. It's a somewhat notable name from that era. Sam Jones, pitcher on the Cardinals here, but he actually pitched for the Giants in 1959 and the early 60s. I don't know if he was on the 62 team, though. I think he was gone by 62. He kind of bounced around a little bit during his career. He pitched for several teams, maybe 4 or 5 teams. But in 1959 was the year of this card, so it's not reflected here, ended up being probably his best season, although he led the NL in strikeouts for the 3rd time in 58. In 59, he didn't actually lead the league in strikeouts, but he was tied for the league in wins with 21 and had like a 2.8-something ERA, if I remember seeing that right on Baseball Reference. Led the NL. He almost won the pitching Triple Crown in 1959. Tied for the league lead in wins and led in ERA, and I don't know where he was in strikeouts, but he had over 200 strikeouts this year in 59 as well. So just a pretty cool card here. Made the All-Star team a couple times. Again, the corners on this one weren't the best. You know, they're fine for a 59 card, 63 years old. And the centering's a little better than the others. Again, kind of a nice shot. I like that the shots are, you know, they're obviously... Well, I'm not obviously sure. I'm pretty sure this one's in a big league ballpark and not in a spring training facility with the upper deck as big as it is. So I don't know if it's in Sportsman's Park or not. It could be, for all I know. I believe he's wearing his home whites there. But these are the kind of photos that speak to me, where I like that they're in their own ballparks or in the big league parks, and they're not looking at you. I've talked about that before in a prior video. I like when they're kind of looking like just not right directly at you. For some reason, I find that a little, not cheesy. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem as portrait-like, I think. Maybe that's what it is. When they're kind of like looking away, they come across more, I don't know. They just have a certain gravitas to them a little bit more when they're kind of looking off into the distance or something. Even if it's a complete ridiculous pitching pose shot that Topps did, you know, a dime a dozen of those. But I still like this one. And I like the green on it, actually. I think it's kind of cool. 2 more cards, and we'll wrap it up. Next one's card number 79. This is probably the most, at least for me, the most unknown player of the bunch, but the corners on this card are pretty nice. The centering is way off, though, again. But for some reason, I was just in a buying mood that night for the 7 I did get. And this one is Harry Cheaty, if I'm pronouncing his name right. Kansas City A's catcher. Really cool blue color on this. Again, the corners are sharp. For a 1959 card, the corners are nice on this. And this one was the cheapest of the 7 I picked up. I think I paid literally, I think it was like 79 cents. I think I was the only bidder on this one. I put in a second bid of like a couple of bucks, and I don't think anybody even tested it. I think I got it for like 79 cents or something. Again, the corners are great, but the centering is not. But I still like it. It's in Yankee Stadium. Clearly, you can tell by the facade up there. Cool catching pose on this one. He is looking at you, but I think the other parts of the card make up for it. I like how he's got like a teammate in the background. I like those kinds of shots too. Or just, you know, a random person probably looking on at the photographer taking the post picture. Cool stuff. For all I know, maybe it was a front office person there during early batting practice. But not a bad one. Actually, kind of a nice one. Last card here is the Hall of Famer of the group that I picked up. And when I saw that he was coming up, you know, in this auction, which actually was only 30 cards maybe were on sale for this particular. The seller broke it up over multiple days. But when I saw this one come up, I'm like, you know, I don't really have a nice card of this guy. I think I got him in maybe a lot I bought from another 50s or early 60s set, probably 63. I have a really poor filler lot from 63. That was one of the first lots I bought when I got back in the hobby in 2020, and I regret buying it because they were like fair and poor condition, most of them. Not all, but most. And I think this player was in it, but I don't know if I have another card of his, and I saw it. Again, it's a little off center left, but the corners for the most part are good. 3 of the 4 are really nice. One of them's got the corners that for sure there, but there's like a tiny dink in it. But card is number 80 in the set. If you remember if you have the set memorized, and some of you might, then you know who it is. The person's on the Cleveland Indians at this point in his career, but he was most known for playing with the Chicago White Sox, and that is none other than Minnie Minoso. So a brand new Hall of Famer. But I really like this card. Again, the picture on it kind of spoke to me a little bit. I don't know if, and I love it when I see cards that I don't know if I've ever seen them before. And I don't know if I had ever seen this shot, this 59 Minoso. For all I know, I did, but it didn't really ever, well, it spoke to me last week when I saw it, in a way. I love the hand on the shoulder. I love him looking off, you know, up in there. It's just, this is like a really, and it just works with the porthole on this one. I don't know, it's like you're just peering in and like on a, almost like an unguarded moment, even though it's a complete pose. I feel like I'm talking out of my butt a little bit there, but it's just a cool card. I liked it a lot. And I wrapped up my buying after I picked this one up because this one was a little bit more than the others. It wasn't too bad. I paid, I won't share what I paid for it, but it was a little bit more than a 20, but not much more. So overall, there you have it. 7 cards from 1959 that I picked up last week. Again, something I hadn't done in a while, a few months, I think. And so I enjoyed kind of, let's see if I can move the camera back a little bit for the end here. But it was just a cool, cool little buying run I did there. It hadn't done that in a while, and so that was a fun little, adventure in auction buying for part of an evening. And they came in a few days ago, and I really like them. So there you have it, 1959 tops there for this video. Thank you for watching if you made it this far, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care. Bye.